A very good day to you. I'm Hank Gross, Mid-HudsonNews.com. It's Monday, June 5th. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run. City police in Poughkeepsie are investigating a homicide after first responders were summoned to a reported assault on Sunday just after 12:30 in the afternoon. The incident occurred in or near 25 South Grand Avenue, and the victim was located in a house when emergency personnel arrived. When police and firefighters responded, along with Mobile Life EMS, they encountered a man with a stab wound to the head with the knife protruding from the skull. A female tenant in the house had begun CPR prior to arrival of first responders. Life-saving measures were initiated by first responders and EMS. Life-saving measures were initiated by fire and EMS personnel at the scene before transporting the 24-year-old man to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A powerful new exhibit at the FDR Presidential Library and Museum in Hyde Park opened its latest exhibit, Black Americans, Civil Rights, and the Roosevelts, 1932 to 1962, on Saturday. The new insight into history will be on display for 18 months. Exhibit curator Herman Eberhard noted that it shows several areas of the Roosevelt administration's relations with African American leaders from the time FDR accepted the Democratic nomination in 1932 and shows the progress through 1960.
We want to really look critically at how African Americans fared under the New Deal and throughout the Roosevelt administration, and how the Roosevelts worked with prominent African American leaders and advanced the causes of civil rights.
The exhibit features documents and artifacts from the Roosevelt Library's holdings and other collections. Abraham is a Mauritanian native who wanted a better life for himself and to escape the corruption and danger of his native land. So he embarked on a journey from his Northwest Africa homeland that took him through El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico in Central America, ultimately to wind up in New York City, and recently bussed to the town of Newburgh, where he and dozens of others are staying in 2 hotels. The French-speaking asylum seeker, communicating through an interpreter, told Mid-Hudson News of the horrible conditions they faced just to get to the U.S.-Mexican border.
People
will take out guns and try to harass you and try to rob you. Vous avez vu des morts?
Oui, bien sûr.
Où ça? He said that he had a friend who actually died on the way, and on the way there was a lot of dead bodies, a lot of people who are dead in the forest, just trying to make their way there.
Abraham's goal is to be granted asylum in September, get a job, and assimilate into American culture and way of life. Spiritual leaders met with community activists and Newburgh town officials to discuss the situation of asylum seekers being placed by the city of New York into local hotels. Concerns of some local government leaders were addressed, said Orange County legislator Genesis Ramos. She says a lack of structure that trickled down from the federal levels, what she called failure, has led to some misunderstandings.
Because of that lack of structure or system, that does not mean, and especially as local elected leaders, that we fearmonger or that we turn our backs on folks. We should work collaboratively in bipartisan ways to have conversations that could lead to solutions in this moment.
County legislator Kevin Darien Lujan said a recent Hudson Valley Pattern for Progress report pointed to a need for more workers for vacant jobs, and the asylum seekers can fill many of those, he said. More news right after this.
Find over 100 retailers allowing you to spend hours shopping safely at the Galleria at Crystal Run. Enjoy the big brands and the diverse selection of family-owned stores all in one location. The Galleria at Crystal Run offers dining options for everyone with Fuji 110 Grill, Allen's Mediterranean Grill, and Peru Cuisine. Discover the Mid-Hudson Valley's premier shopping, dining, and entertainment destination, the Galleria at Crystal Run. For more information, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit GalleriaCrystalRun.com.
Renita Principe Garcia with clipboard in hand, walked about the parking lot at New Paltz Middle School and noted the participants getting ready for the Hudson Valley Pride Coalition March prior to noon on Sunday. The crowd is beautiful. I'm happy to see more diversity in the crowd, Garcia said. She's an event organizer.
My heart is so sorrowful with everything that's going on, and we really need to support our community that is down south, Texas, Florida, Alabama, all of those southern states. I mean, it's so important to be aware and put it in the newspaper and really advocate, because we have it pretty easy here in.
The march left the middle school, proceeded down Main Street before making a left toward Village Hall for festivities across the street at Hasbrook Park. Police in the city of Newburgh continue to investigate shooting and stabbing incidents within minutes of each other early Sunday morning. The shooting occurred near the area of Poplar Street and Fowler Avenue at around 1:30 a.m. 2 victims who were shot in the legs were transported to Montefiore St. Louis Cornwall Hospital for treatment of their injuries. About 15 minutes later, police responded to the area of 160 South Street, where they found a large crowd and one female victim with a wound to her left forearm. Officers transported her to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A 33-year-old Junction City, Kansas man has been indicted in federal court in White Plains for enticing a minor to engage in unlawful sexual activity and engaging in the offense while a registered sex offender. According to court documents, Curtis Ellington was convicted in January 2007 in Orange County Court of rape for having sex with a child under the age of 11. He was required to register as a sex offender. On April 7th of this year, he slept at the home of a 15-year-old, and while there engaged in sexual activity. Prior to that, he had several communications on Instagram in which he discussed his desire to engage in sexual activity with the victim. When sentenced, he faces 10 years to life in federal prison. I'm Hank Gross, MidHudsonNews.com. The news today brought to you by the Galleria at Crystal Run.